So in this video, I'm going to go over making case statements in Looker Studio to build segments. It's really all this is. It's really one of my favorite things to do because it makes your ability to analyze data just so much more effective, so much more useful. And really what we're looking at is things like this, where you have groupings of alike pages based on something like a URL path. You could also do this for, query segmentation if you want to bucket your queries from Google Search Console data. If you want to, for example, look at Google traffic versus all traffic between the rest of the search engines other than Google, you could do that. You could do a lot of things with this type of segmentation. I'm going to show you how to do it very, very easily using this tool over here. Before I jump into that, just an FYI, I will link the Google Help documentation on the case statements as well. You can kind of review the syntax and everything you want in here. But again, this tool kind of does it for you, even for someone that generally can write their own case statements pretty easily. If you're familiar with SQL, it's probably going to be a lot faster to go about it using this tool. I know I personally know how to write a case statement, of course, and this makes it much, much faster. So let's go through the process. The first thing you're always going to want to do is that you're going to need the actual dimension you're going to use. So I'm going to actually show how to recreate this testing dimension I already built right there. And then I'll build another one that we don't already have in this dashboard right now. So what you're going to need is the exact name in Looker Studio for the dimension you're using. First off, don't be fooled because sometimes you'll see something like this where maybe someone just renamed this to landing page. You see landing page right there. You could use this source field to always get the proper name because this is not the actual name of the dimension. This right here is the name of the dimension. The other way you can also check is that if you look up here, the dimension name will be accurate. So if we look up landing page, we do see there is actually a landing page dimension, but it doesn't have a capital, and capitalization does in fact matter. But the one we're actually using is this landing page plus query string dimension. Again, if you look it up right there, or if you just copy and paste it from right there, you will be all set. So coming in here, really you could technically add multiple dimensions. Like I could put device. I don't even know if I'm spelling this right compared to what it is in here. We could double check, but to look at device, you see device and then lowercase category. So we could do something like this, which we won't inherently want to do, and I'll explain that in a minute, but we could do something like mobile, then call it mobile. And I realize I spelled that wrong, but we're not going to use this anyway. We could do tools, then tools, generate case statement. And we already have this right here. Why would you generally not want to do this? Because there's going to be instances where a page is both driving traffic from, well, not this technically, from mobile, from that right there, and also in tools, which is this subfolder this page is in right here. So again, you're generally going to want to do this on just one dimension, but I did leave the option in there to, use multiple dimensions if you want. You'll also notice if you toggle between these, it will not let you use both dimensions and metrics at the same time, and it will make some adjustments based on whether you're looking at a dimension or metric. And the reason that is that Google Data Studio won't actually let you. So if I come in here and I look up that testing page type, and I tried to do something like this: when sessions are greater than 0, then cool stuff, you'll see I'm going to get an error. And it's going to say you can't use both metrics and dimensions, aggregate values and non-aggregate values at the same time. So we just avoid that altogether. Doesn't allow it in the tool, so you can't make that mistake. Okay, let's move forward now. So let's start with tools, and that will be tools. And you'll see once you hit generate case statement once, it will just automatically, populate these as you add more. And I'm going to do something that might look a little weird at first, but I'll explain why I'm doing this in a second. This isn't something you'd actually need to do. I'm just trying to make a point. Let's actually make this one contains, this one starts with, let's do equals / is the home page. Let's do, I think I need reports is reports, and I need, let's do starts with extensions equals Chrome extensions. So these are just the different buckets that exist on SEO workflows. You generally get those from the URL structure, right? So what I wanted to point out is that you'll see home pages showing up first, tools second, extensions third, then blog and reports. That's not the same order that we added these. Why is that? Because generally speaking, it's best practice to start with the more specific directions in a case statement, because the first matching condition is going to be the condition it uses to populate what you see in the dashboard. So in this case, we see, these values right here. Those are the values that you see in the result value on the right here. And what it's saying, right, is if a URL or a landing page plus query string, or in this case, starts with /tools, like any of these URLs, then it's being bucketed in tools. So in this case, it doesn't really matter because you see in all cases, it starts with /tools. But the point I was trying to make is that this tool will natively start with the more specific directions and get more general. So if I made, this one ends with, it will drop below, just because it's no longer equals, which takes priority over, starts with. And again, the reason that is it's best practice to always start with the more specific directions and then make your way down to the more general, because you might run into some scenarios where let's say a URL starts with tools, but also contains blog. And in that case, you want to call it tools. So you want that direction to catch the condition, meaning like if it says /tools, like a URL, like I don't have a URL like this, but if we had something, for example, /tools /blog, and then blog things, let's say we want that to be called tools. In some cases, though, that might not be the case. So definitely be aware of that. And if you are in a scenario where you did intentionally want this to come after blog, definitely make that adjustment, because natively it is going to start with the more specific directions and drill down to the more generalized directions. Hopefully that makes sense. So at this point, we can now take this and we can drop this directly in to make our new segment. So we'll say add a field. We could just copy and paste what we just have right there. Let's call this page type and hit save. Sometimes it will require you to refresh the page after you make a new dimension or metric, any kind of field. So definitely be aware of that. I'll check it out now. And if I don't see it pop up here, I will be assuming that I need to refresh the page. So we can look up page type. Okay, we do have it. So good to go that time. So we have page type, and now you can start, it's the same exact thing, but now I could say like, okay, I just want to look at tools pages, and that will filter all the different views on the entire dashboard. So obviously not the largest website, but you could imagine the effectiveness when working on a larger domain. Let's do another one. So you'll actually see there are some subfolders here. So let's come in here and let's look at the various subfolders, which are, I honestly don't remember them off the top of my head. So we got /authority. Let's just copy that, put it over here. Let's say that contains, because that no longer starts with, right? Like a URL that's /tools /authority definitely won't start with it. Let's call these authority. Then we got /general, /general. These are more like data analysis tools. We got relevance, /relevance. And obviously I need to update the name, relevance. And then technical is /technical. So we obviously need to make this not equals technical, and I can remove this one right here. Perfect. Now we have our next case statement. Let's improve our dashboard a little bit. Let's come into here. I'm going to reset that just so the filter goes away. I'm going to copy and paste that, which is actually going to make me recopy the SQL statement. So let me come back here and copy this. And now let's just call it subtype. I generally call the first one always page type, and then I always call the second one subtype, just a personal preference, but you could really call them whatever you want. So we'll go add field. I accidentally just click add parameter, add field. We'll get that, and let's call this subtype. We'll press save. Again, it may or may not populate without refreshing the page, so we will see what happens. Sub, oh, we got it. And I actually messed that up because they were just stacked on top of each other. Cool. So come in here, let's say subtype. Cool. So now we have our subtype. And obviously, most pages, I actually don't know why that is. Let's check that out really quick. I mess up something? Maybe there's version. Subtype. Oh, I 100% put in the wrong URL structures. Nice. Okay, I still don't even know all the URL structures off the top of my head. So let's just do a few of these. Categorization. Obviously, I know my own site very well. So we have categorization, extraction, and we can't do a capital, extraction, cleaning, opportunity, change. So we got cleaning, opportunity, and change. I think there might be some more, but let's just call them that, change. Okay, let's try this one more time. The reason it's only one URL in each is because it's the actual category pages for each. Smooth. Give myself a pound back for that one. Okay, give it a second to actually load. And there we go. It looks like, let's figure out the one I was missing, which obviously you could tell pretty easily now. Oh, so I wasn't actually missing any because this is the home page, the main tools page, the pages we were just looking at, extensions, which is a feed page. So it did actually categorize them all correctly, and we have those groupings there now. If we wanted to, we could put an else condition that says other, so everything else gets bucketed into other, but we'll just leave that be for the time being. I'm going to do one more here because there's one other really interesting way of looking at data, in my opinion. And just to be clear now, like you could use these all as filters now, like opportunity. We can now click into opportunity and see, how are just the opportunity pages doing based on just the page types. You see there's only tool pages. We could come down here and see the landing pages, and all of this up here is only filtered to pages that have opportunity. Hopefully that was kind of clear from the get-go. But the last way I want to show, which is a way I actually like looking at data a lot, is that you could use metrics, and we could say, let's do engage sessions. Actually, let me come in here, and I forget how it's being used. Engaged, it's capital E, lowercase s, so engaged sessions, and then we could do, let's say, is equal to 0, then no engagement, or let's just say no engaged sessions. Let's do engaged sessions is greater than 5, then that would be between, or sorry, greater than 5 engaged sessions. And we could do engaged sessions is greater than 0 is between 1 and 4 engaged sessions. Obviously, like, I don't know how valuable this view is going to be for us right here, but I'm trying to get across the point that you could build a lot of really interesting segments, then no engaged sessions. So now we can start looking at page segments based on how much value they're getting. You'll actually see this has quotes around it right here, which shouldn't be there. I'm actually rolling out the fix for that right now. So by the time anyone sees this video, you will not have quotations around this 0 if you had selected metrics. So don't worry about that. But let's look at how that looks and how we'll actually use this, because it is a little bit different how you would go about using this versus using a dimension field. So come in here. Again, I got to remove these quotes. As mentioned, before. Oh, something's messed up there. Engage sessions. Oh, I already put no. Oops. So as mentioned before, by the time anyone is actually watching this video, that will no longer be the case. If you had selected metric, it will automatically make it a numeric value rather than a string value. The string value is with the quotes around it, the single quote. And let's just call this range of engaged sessions. Again, I don't know if I would really go out of my way to look at this specific metric, especially for my domain here, but you can see how you could start making really interesting segments like greater than 10,000 sessions versus between 1,000 to 5,000 to see like, okay, how are our valuable pages doing and how is it trending, of how many pages are actually driving value. There's a lot of different things you could do with it. I'm just, throwing some ideas out there. So take that, we'll build another kind of set of segments here. And again, I already mentioned this, but this is a little different. So what you actually have to do is that you'll use that in here. I honestly kind of forget what I called it. Engage range of engaged sessions. Let's make this the first metric. I will take out. Okay. So range of engaged sessions, and then you won't want to look at this delta just because it will never calculate anything. So you could come in here and see metric 1, show compare, and you could just toggle that off. Okay, now we can see by subtype how many pages have these various segment of engaged sessions. Again, this view right here, not the most valuable thing in the world, but I hope you can imagine the different things you can actually do to further understand your data using these metric level segments as well. It definitely could get some interesting insights. You could see things like the trend of the amount of pages that are considered high traffic by page type. That's just one example, but the options are really endless. I think that's just about it for this video. Hopefully this is valuable for you. Hopefully you're thinking of some creative ways that you could utilize these kind of segments in your dashboards and for your data analysis. But I think that is all for the time being. Thank you.